just came to play for the money. On 7 good ponies and some damn good swing. So get your team together, get fired up. So I can have a chop at you at the Inverell Swan Cup.
Hi everyone, welcome to the 16th Swan Cup video podcast. We're looking forward to our 2021 Inverell Swan Cup. Our nominations closed at the beginning of last week, and we're pretty keen to share a few of our details. I've got Cameron Neville along with me. How you going, Cameron?
I'm great, mate. How are you?
Yeah, going really good, thanks. Just tonight, we're going to talk about nominations for our Open Men's Polocrosse. We're going to do another podcast next week and discuss our sale nominations once we get a bit more details from Nutrien and the Stock Horse Society with their cataloguing. But tonight, we're just here to talk about the Polocrosse competition. Now, we've got 8 teams nominated, Cameron. You and I have just been going through the list, having a look at things, and we're pretty excited about the level of competition we're going to see.
Oh, definitely, mate. I think there's just going to be no easy games, and everyone could beat anyone, and I think I just can't wait to the day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait for everyone to turn up and our event to happen. You know, we've been talking about this, you and I, since 2019. It feels like forever ago, and then all of a sudden we're approaching a point where we've got sort of 6 or 7 weeks to go until it's on, and everything's starting to happen, everything's starting to get moving, and yeah, it's an exciting bit of time for us. We're going to go through the teams, talk about the people in them, and talk about how many points they're on for their first 6 and how many points they're on for their whole 7. Did you want to kick us off, Cameron, with one of the teams and go through and who's in it?
Yeah, righto, mate. Yep. So I've got the Gilgurry Performance Horse team, which is Jason Girk is the captain of their side, and he's been the one who's put this team together. And it's got Darcy O'Sullivan, who's an 8-point player. Aaron Mullins, an 8-point player. Thomas Grills, 8-point player. Clancy Knight on 7.5. Hayden Grumley on 7. Matthew Johnson on 9, and Jason Girk on 7.5. So that brings their total points for the 7 players to 55. And we've just done the maths on them, and their top 6 players add up to the maximum of 48 points. So, mate, I think it's a pretty clearly side and pretty clever how they've done it. Like their lowest rated player in their team is a 7-point player, and their highest rated player is 9. So it's a very even team, and I think it'll mean that they will be able to swap around a bit more, and they'll probably be able to save a bit of horsepower because they'll have a lot of faith in their 7th player to do a job for them.
Yeah, for sure. The first team I've got written down here is the A.S.H Stock Horses team. They got Chris Stiletto on 8.5 points. Yourself, Cameron Neville, on 6.5 points. Brett Woodward on 8 points. Sam Amy on 7.5 points. Michael Simmons on 8 points. Luke Losberg on 8.5 points. Kieran Chapman on 7. And that puts their first 6 at 47 points, and your top 7 on 54 points. So again, you just mentioned a side that was 48 points and 55 points. This side's only 1 point behind on both of those things, so very competitive side heading towards the competition. So it'll be exciting to see, that every game's just waiting on that, tipping point and that goal. Be exciting.
Oh, and I think too, mate, with the games being 6 6-minute chuckers, for the round games, for the 3 round games that each team will play, so it'll bit of strategy and all that will come into it, So, and everyone will be watching everyone and who's playing what and what positions. And it'll certainly be interesting how it plays out. But the team I've got now, mate, is the Turnbull livestock side, and Luke Sewell, captain here, and he's the one who got this team together. His team is Chris Anderson, who's an 8-point player, Bernie Smith, 8 points, Hayden Turnbull, 8 points, Will Weston, who's a 10-point player. Then you got Luke Sewell on 9 points, Bronson Maclinshaw on 5 points, and Graham Finlinson on 5 points. So they total at 53 points for their 7 players, but their top 6 comes in at the max 2 at 48 points. So this is a bit of a different side, I reckon, meaning that their top 5 players are all really genuine high-level players, and they've gone and got Bronson and Graham, who are on 5 points, and don't play probably as often as anyone that we've already spoken about. So yeah, it could be a big step up for those two on the 5-point plays to actually come and play in a comp that's going to be pretty even. But then if you look at their top 5, they're all of the highest of levels. So how they run their side could be a lot different to how, you know, we may run our side.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The next side I've got here is the Berragoon Heiniger side. Jim Grills is the captain of that one. He's put this side together. So we've got Jim Grills on 10 points, Abbott Grills on 10 points, Matty Davison on 9 points, Byron Davison on 8 points, Morgan Webb on 5.5, Joshua Smith on 5.5, and Adam Grills on 5.5. That puts their top 6 players at 48 points, the maximum, and their team altogether is on 53.5 points. So, you know, having those few top ranked fellas in there, Jim, Abbott, Matty Davo, they've had to put a few of those lower pointed players in there to really sort of, you know, help their team along and stay under that points cap. So it'll be interesting again to see how that team plays out their side in the competition.
Oh, there's probably no one more that thinks about polocrosse than the Grills family at Berragoon, and I bet you they would have really watched and considered who they were going to take into their team. So, and they're fortunate and unfortunate in the same sentence that, you know, they've got 2 10-point players and 1 9-point player in their side. So, but that's how people are putting their teams together, and that's the beauty of it. Everyone's trying to fit under the cap, so that's a good thing. But mate, the team I got now is Ike Murray's side, and Ike's been the captain of this side and putting it together for us. So he's come up with Lance Anderson on 10 points, Corey Byes on 9 points, Isla Young on 8 points, Mitch Anderson on 8 points, Ike Murray's on 6.5 points, Oliver Greentree is 6 points, and Toa Hollyoak, who's a New Zealander who's now over here playing, he's on 6 points. So they're at 53.5 points total, and their top 6 come in at 47.5. So it's probably a little bit more even than maybe the last team we just spoke about, the Berragoon team. But you know, they've still got Lance and Corey Byes on very high points, and then they got 2 6-pointers and 1 6.5 pointer. So, you know, they're back to sort of the team that I'm in, you know, very similar on points and how they played. So another team that'll be watching how other teams play and how they run out their first 6 players will be interesting to look at.
And I suppose too, the hope is that, you know, if you've got one of those players that's on 10 points, you hope that they're going to really dominate the game for you and put you in a position, in a winning position to help out with those other players. The next side I've got here is Broke Piston. It's been put together by Wayne Stevenson. I think Josh Saul might be the captain of this one. So we've got Josh Saul on 7 points, Wayne Stevenson on 8 points, Matt Stevenson on 7 points, Jack Halstead on 7 points, Sam Halstead on 7 points, Trent Mortimer on 7.5, and Brandon Parkinson on 7 points. So their top 6 come in at 43.5, and with their 7th player, they come in at 50.5. So a team there that I think will do quite well. They're sitting in a pretty good position, and they might come in, a bit underrated compared to some of the other sides, but I think they'll do really well.
Well, it'll be some of them fellas, can have a blinder on their day, and the points mean nothing. They got the ability to beat anyone on their day. So yeah, bounce of the ball, and everyone's in it. But mate, the next team I've got is Russell Davison's team. Russell's the team captain of this. He's put this side together, and his team has come in as Russell Davidson himself on 7.5. James Bredauer is on 7.5. Jacob Ross is 9. Sam Sargood is a 6. Connor O'Sullivan is a 6. James Sargood is a 7.5. And Matt O'Sullivan is a 7. So their total 7 points have added up to 50.5 points, with their top 6 makes them 44.5 when they ride out on the field. So there's another team that's, going to travel some big Ks to come and support us. And they really just wanted to be a part of the event. They understand they're probably not going to be the highest ranked team there, but they're going to come down and put their best foot forward, and they're not going to make it easy for anyone. So it's just another good team put together.
Yeah, for sure. And the last team I've got is Trent Collins has put a team together. He's the team captain of this one. So we've got Trent Collins on 8 points, Justin Hafey on 8 points, Tom O'Neill on 9 points, Cody Woodward on 8 points, Dan Hafey on 7.5 points, Joe Wormsley on 7.5 points, and Charlie Holcomb on 7 points. That puts their top 6 players at 48 points, and their 7 altogether comes to 55 points. So they're our highest rated team in the competition, and some exciting players there. So it'll be interesting to see how they go against all of the other teams as well.
They're nearly all got representative players really in their side. Whether they're playing for South Australia, Queensland, or New South, but they're a team that's brought them together from Bunnan, Inverell, and Tansy. I'm not sure who Charlie plays for, but definitely going to be one of the main contenders, I would think, from the outside looking in. But it'll be interesting to see, how the high point players gauge themselves, against the lowest point player, and where the most pressure comes on. Do the 10-point players really have to carry their side, or do the 5-point players have to play up to a 7-point player? It'll be really interesting to see how teams play it out, and maybe you just run with your best 6 and you don't swap in your 7 and you win all weekend. Well, good on you. But if you can be swapping in and out and you use all your players up, and it's a good thing, well, how it happens is how it's going to happen.
Yeah. So in my mind, we've got all these people. We've got people from Victoria, we've got people from Northern Queensland, people from New South Wales. They're all travelling here to compete against one another. And when they arrive here, they're going to battle it out against some of the best in the business. And they're all playing for a share in, over 20 grand in cash and prizes that we've got on offer. And I'm not sure about you, Cameron. I don't mind a punt myself, but 1 in 8 sounds like pretty good odds to me. What do you reckon?
That's why I'm in it, mate. And you got to be in it to win it. And I just think the bounce of the ball could be the difference on the weekend. There's not going to be any easy games. So if you turn up and things go your way and you get a run on the ball and things like that, well, I think any team could win it. And it'll be interesting. Some fellas are going to get to play with their mates that they play against a lot, so now they're going to get to play with them. And I just think it'll be strong competition all weekend. So if you want to come and watch some proper polocrosse get played, and they're riding for something that they're riding for a lot of prize money, but I think a fair bit of pride's going to come into it. I certainly don't want to be Cody Woodward spruiking to me that he won the Swan Cup all year. So we'll be doing our best for that not to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Now, like, I know you're in a side and everything, but you know, when it comes to it, we've just seen all of them, you know, in black and white on paper, all of the teams, all the players. You know, if you were putting money on it, early money, you know, think about watching the footy, they have their win predictors and all their bits of stuff. Where would you be putting your money early?
Well, the Hayden livestock side, they won the Albury Carnival, and the only difference I think there is that they've got Bronson and Graham, and then they don't have Cameron Freer as the young fella in it. But I would say if they can keep their best 5 on the field and their horses handle it, they'll take some beating. I reckon that they'll take a lot of handling, which only puts more pressure on Bronson and Finno to actually aim up. I'd hate to be the ones that drop the ball on them and Sully up you. And then I think the last team you talked about, Trent Collins' side, like they all are top grade players, play on a regular basis, play A grade every weekend. So they're a team, but it's just going to see how they gel together too. Yeah. You know, and it might take them a game or two to get used to each other. But I think if you lose one, well, you're going to be out. So you need to be firing from the first game. But I don't know. My top 3 would be the Berragoon team, and then Hayden livestock side, and then Trent Collins' team. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Well, I like the look of the Gilgary Performance side. You know, you've got this group of young fellas who are all terrific mates. When you look at their side on paper, they're pretty much all on about that 8 to 7 point mark. Like, I think we looked at it, their highest pointed player is 9, and that's their most senior player, Matt Johnson, who's played nationals upon nationals upon nationals for Queensland. And you've got this group of young fellas sort of, you know, on the up and up. And I think their lowest pointed player is 7.5 or something, you know, and they got this group of blokes who are good mates, and I think they're going to turn up and they're going to want to play for one another. So I'm excited to see how they go. But I think it's pretty hard to go past that form, like you said, of Turnbull's livestock side. You know, they've won that competition already this year. You got a group of blokes that have some of them probably been playing together for 20 plus years, and you know that experience of playing together is pretty hard to beat.
Oh, definitely. I know when we did the podcast with Hayden, you know, all he talked about was, you know, he wants to play with his own fellas because he trusts them and he knows how they play, and they trust him. So, yeah, like our team, the only person I've ever played with is Brett Woodward, and the rest of them I've never played them at all or with them. So it'll be interesting if people can gel together. And yeah, I haven't. Yeah, that's true, but you know, maybe that's the beauty of it. We just turn up there, get together, and go out and surprise someone like the Corindai team, you know, and stick it to them. And you know, if they don't get the run on the ball and they've got to chase us down, well, you know, we might just put the pressure back on them.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Anyway, mate, I think it all looks pretty strong. I think having 8 teams is a good result. It's going to make for a fair draw, and how we do it. And if anyone's interested, the plan is that we'll have 2 games each. Each team will have 2 games on the Friday, and then the plan is to have 1 game on the Saturday. So each team will get a guaranteed 3 games. Then we look like we're going to have our pre-work for the horses Saturday lunchtime, and then hopefully have two semi-finals under lights Saturday night, and then we can roll into our sale, which will be Sunday morning, and then we'll have 3rd play for 4th, and those teams won't be playing for nothing either. We've been lucky enough to come up with a bit of prize money and a few prizes there, but we'll keep that in the hat until we know exactly what it is. But 3rd will play 4th, and then the big one will play 2 for the big check. And they have to get the 7 service fees to Conray from Yarrawa Park. So yeah, they're riding for a bit of prizes and a bit of prize money. So yeah, Sunday's a big day.
Yeah, and we've got a few good prizes coming on board too. Like I know in every game over the weekend, the best Australian stock horse is in each game is going to receive prize money from the Stock Horse Society. They've sponsored us in that. And then in the final, they've not only sponsored the prize money, they're going to throw in a rug as well. So we've got that prize coming out. Pryde stock feeds are going to give a bag of feed to every player in the final. We've got loads of prizes coming out that, everyone's going to walk away with an armful of stuff if they're in that top side that wins it and that second side.
Oh, yeah, and even Braden Gainey's made bridles for us for the best numbers. So, there's a big chance if you turn up and win the competition and win a horse prize or win a best number prize, you're going to be satisfied with why you come. You're going to have good cash in the pocket. You're going to have some good prizes. You're going to play some of the best players in the comp, and you're going to know where you stand.
Yeah, for sure. So just before we go, as you might have heard just before, Cameron mentioned we've changed up our dates a little bit. We've cut the Thursday off. We're going to be running from Friday the 9th of July to the 11th of July 2021, and most of all, we're just looking forward to seeing everyone there. We're looking forward to our event. We're super keen. Been waiting a damn long time for it to happen. And I don't know about you, Cameron, but I just can't wait to get there.
And if you want to bring your truck and you're not bringing horses or whatever, and you want to come and camp and stay in that, there'll be plenty of space. So, if you just want to come up for the weekend and watch the polocrosse, and there'll be plenty of room. So if you're thinking about it, we hope you come. Yeah,
for sure. And we're just looking forward to seeing as many people there as possible. So Cameron, thanks. And I look forward to having a yarn to you next week and talking about the horses beyond the competition, talk about the horses for the sale.
Yeah, look forward to it, mate.
So I can have a chop at you at the Inverell Swan Cup.